Hello everyone. So I am obviously back from my vacation. It was really nice. There were a couple things that were closed because of COVID, but most of the things were open. Just social distancing and lots of sanitization. Um, and yeah, we had a great time. It was really good to take a little bit of a break. However, now I'm playing catch up, and I am actually pretty much caught up. You might hear my oven in the background because I'm doing the last finishing steps on the painting of Reborn Joanna Awake, and she's my last baby. The giveaway baby has already been packaged up, finished, and she is going to be on her way today whenever the mail truck comes around to pick her up. So she's done, she's ready to go, and like I said, I'm finishing up Joanna Awake. She is going to be for sure finished today with painting, and I'm going to start her rooting, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'll be done with her rooting by the time that I leave on August 1st. That's when I fly out. That early that morning is when I fly out to go back to North Carolina. Um, I'm thinking I'll be able to finish her hair by then because that gives me a little bit over a week, and I think that's enough time. She doesn't have a huge head, so I'm hoping her mommy wants similar hair to Emerson's texture and thickness, and I already have that hair, so it's not like I have to wait for her hair to come in or anything. So she should be absolutely finished um, by the time before I leave. She should be out and shipped. So yeah, I decided to take a while she's baking right now to make a little video, and this topic has been coming up recently a lot because it seems like people don't understand what a reborn is, and I don't think I've ever actually made a video saying what a reborn is and how they started and what a reborn is not and why they're not reborns. So I don't think I ever talked about that, which is kind of crazy because I think I just assumed that most people who find my channel know what reborns are. But it's seeming more and more like people don't know the difference between what makes something a reborn and what makes something just a regular factory-produced toy doll. So let's just jump into that, and let's start with how reborning began. Um, as far as my understanding, reborning began with the repainting of Behringer dolls. Behringer dolls is a specific type of realistic vinyl play doll. These dolls are now sold in like Walmarts and stuff, and you'll see them. They're definitely more realistic than most play dolls. These are the Law, I think it's like Law Newborn, LA Newborn. Um, I'll put up some images, of course, of them, what I mean, but they are definitely more realistic than your normal toy doll for a 3-year-old. So people started back in, I think, the early 2000s with painting those. It might have been the late 1990s. I'm not really sure exactly on the timeline, but they started painting those because at that point, reborn kits, the blank version of kits, weren't a thing yet. So all they had were these factory-produced play dolls to repaint. Not everyone did Behringers either. Some people just repainted regular dolls as well that they found at the store. And usually they would do it with like air dry paints. This was before Genesis heat set paints, I believe, were used. They used air dry paints, and they would weigh them with like things that are very much frowned upon now, but that was, for them, that was their weighting materials back then. So like sand and like rocks and stuff like that. That was back then, that was acceptable. Nowadays, that is not acceptable because we understand what that does to the vinyl and what that does long term. So yes, that's how Reborns started, with those type of dolls that they just repainted. Hence the name Reborn, because they were reborning the doll. The doll was being reborn into a more realistic version of itself. So that's a common misconception because nowadays you see the reason why I started talking about this is because there are a few people who are now doing that again, where they're repainting Behringer dolls. They're reborning these play dolls and turning them into reborns. And a lot of people on the comment sections of these posts of people selling their repainted dolls are saying these aren't reborns, when that's not true at all. As I just explained, that's literally the most pure form of reborning, is taking a factory produced doll and repainting it. Um, so they are in fact reborns. They're just not what you're used to seeing in modern reborning era. You're used to seeing limited edition and these types of like kits that were produced to be painted by a reborn artist, whereas these are just the from the beginning how it was. So yes, these dolls are reborns in every sense of the word. They're just not used to what people are just not used to seeing them anymore in this 2020 year. So I wanted to clear that up, that they are reborns if and only if they have been repainted. If you just add weight to a factory-made doll, that you're not reborning it. You're not doing anything that manipulates it other than adding weight, or putting it on a different body isn't reborning it either. You're not really making it much more realistic. You're not doing much artistically to it to constitute it as reborning. So I wanted to get into that as well, because as the thumbnail shows, a lot of people have been claiming that their Yoda dolls, their little baby Yodas, are reborn or reborns, just because they added a body to it, a cuddle baby body to it, and add some weight to it. And that is insulting as me as an artist, as a collector. That is not a reborn. You did nothing but add a body and some weight to it. That's not reborning. I don't understand why some of the reborn, a lot of them aren't allowing these these quote unquote reborn Yodas, the baby Yoda dolls. They're not allowing them because of that exact reason, because they're not reborn dolls. Now, a lot of these baby Yodas are trying to get away with the fact because they're whoever manipulates them adds a little bit more paint to that, and even then I'm like, that's kind of not a reborn to me. Sorry, that was my oven. No, no, no. Sorry, my Nana didn't see the sign that I was recording. I'll have to cut that out. Oh, you guys won't see it probably. But, yeah, so, a lot of, even the lightly painted ones aren't being approved because it looks no different and you didn't really do much work to be able to sell it for triple the price of what you bought it for. That goes back to, my other topic of taking advantage of customers who don't know better. But yeah, so I just thought it would be interesting to talk about that, because a lot of people don't understand that those dolls, even though they were produced or they were toy dolls at some point, if they have been painted and redone, they are reborn dolls. A lot of them don't even sell for much, in like less than $100. Usually these reborn Behringers, depending on how much the work person puts into them, they don't sell for that as much as regular modern day reborn sell. So they're a good option for people who are just getting into the community, or they're buying their first doll for their children or grandchildren. These reborn Behringers are a very good deal for people, because you get that more realistic doll for a cheaper price. I have not actually done a Behringer yet, but I do want to. I started to do one and I didn't finish it. I don't know what happened. I think I ran out of time. It was probably a transition weird time when I was leaving a dorm and going back to where I stay during summers and winters. It's in my storage, I believe, somewhere. I have to go back in North Carolina and check. But yeah, I do want to do a Behringer and have it as an optional, like a little budget baby type situation. Um, okay, so another thing that I wanted to say is I'm doing a little bit of a contest. I want you guys to try it, and this is just a little bonus thing. You'll get a small prize, but you have to pay shipping, just like the other competition thing, whatever you want to call it, that I did recently. You do have to pay shipping, but you get a small prize, and this one is you have to guess the name, at least the middle name, of my new girl that's coming. I'm trying to keep myself excited because it's been so long that I'm starting to lose a little bit of excitement about her, she's still not done. So I don't know if I'll get her before I leave, which is what I really wanted to do, is be able to have her before I leave to go back to North Carolina. Um, Otherwise, I don't know, how long, when I would get her. But yeah, so to keep myself a little bit more excited, I wanted to do a little contest to see who can guess her first and middle name, and they'll get like an extra special prize if they can do that, because her first name is very, very unique. I've never seen anybody else with this name, any other doll, anybody, real person or not, with her first name. It's very unique. It starts with the R. That's the only hint you get for her first name. And then her middle name is more common, but it's also still not super common, and it starts with an E. So if you can guess, whoever can guess at least her middle name correctly first gets the prize. And if you can guess both, you get the bonus prize. So yeah, I thought that I would just give you guys that. If you stayed and watched this long, thank you. You now know about the contest, competition, whatever you want to call it. If you already know her name, if I've already told you her name, you cannot be involved. And if you try to be involved anyway, and I've already told you her name, you will never be allowed to enter any of my other competition, contests, or giveaways again. Just to keep it fair, no cheating, etc. But yes, I will talk to you guys when I can. I'm going to be super busy these next coming days, so if I don't get back to your messages right away, don't be too concerned. I'm just so busy. Alright, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.